The funniest is like when there's a TV machine, I don't really Snapchat story showing the gym.
All right, there's a few more people left. Excuse me, Thomas. Sure. But I'm going to go ahead and start. So they'll filter in as they filter in. All right. First of all, what we're going to do today is going to mimic what we did last Wednesday. Okay? I didn't want to throw down on all the details of the syllabus and get everybody confused on this, that, or the other thing. What I really would rather do, since photography by its very nature is kind of a confusing business to start with, is I wanted to throw out an assignment, have a couple of you screw it up, and then we learn how to fix it. That's how it generally works. Welcome. Who screwed it up? Be honest.
I'm going to say I did.
All right. I already know who screwed it up, so I already know that some people did it. What I wanted you to do was to send me your photo, your first assignment, to my email by midnight last night, right? Everybody remembers that part?
Yeah.
No?
I need to take a note.
Really?
Photo part.
All right. Well, I'll open up the class website. I'll show you where this information is. And then...
More people coming. We had a class before.
Yeah?
Like 10 minutes before.
Okay. All right, everybody knows this website, yes?
Yeah, I can log on to it.
NMD341.wordpress.com. That's our home page. Learn it, know it, live it, all right?
Well, it wouldn't let us on. I tried to get on.
It says it's locked.
Yeah.
It's locked.
We have to log in.
Okay. Yeah, we'll set all that up today. We're going to make sure everybody's on board and then be done with it. Let's see. Let's not do that. Where did my mouse go? All right, so in any case, we topically went over the syllabus last week. Didn't want to, there was a lot of reasons that I didn't go into detail with it, but the main one is that I wanted everybody to have the kind of slightly half freaked out experience of not being able to get your stuff in. It is a very, it's a very troubling experience. Any journalist who's ever gotten past a deadline and is kind of sweating having another deadline, meaning that individual is about to lose their job, will completely relate to that. How do you do it? How do you get it sent into the right place at the right time to the right people? I mean, you've spent all this time making this photo, right? And you're going to get hung up by this one catch, this one little detail. So today we're going to hopefully have our attention now on how to get that in, correct? All right. This is our syllabus. Welcome to NMD341, Photo Reporting and Storytelling. It's also a CMJ class. It's not just a new media class. What we're going to be doing in this class is listed right here on the syllabus. I added a page for resources. Anytime you ever have any question about your assignments, go right here, all right? And last night's assignment, or last night's deadline in any case, I've already actually put assignment 2, so don't read that. Everybody is not reading that. Assignment 1, take a photo, okay? Based on your current breadth of knowledge of photography, go and create the best image you possibly can. That was the basics, all right? As you guys will recall, I also said, give me something that resembles your life, right? Something that represents something you're interested in. We had religion, we had politics, we had design, we had cats, we had everything, right? And that is the breadth of this classroom. The writing assignment is to answer these 3 questions, all right? One is, I wanted your goals from the class. What do you want to learn? The second would be, what are your 3 top objectives for this semester? And we actually talked about that, if you guys recall. I said, what do you want to learn? Stand up, tell me who you are, what do you want to learn? I didn't actually make anybody stand up, for those of you that were here for that. But basically, I just wanted to figure out who you are, why you're here, what you want to learn, all that stuff. And that's more or less what we're going to do today. We're going to put that assignment on our own web page, and I'll show you how to do that. So, one of the questions that came up was, I don't know how to send it to whom, and I don't know where to send it, etc. Yes? No? Yes? A couple of you nodding your heads. This is it right here. Everybody got that? kyle.o'donnell@maine.edu. And that, even though we're going to be working with the website, if anybody in here is technically unsavvy or has general problems understanding how to upload stuff to our website, always email it to me as a default, okay? That is the default. That means that that's the deadline, regardless of whether or not you can set up our web space, right? So I don't want anybody to get caught up on the hang-ups of technology. Everybody knows how to send an email at this point in our lives, right? Nobody not comfortable with that. Good. So that is my email. Whether or not you can find me on First Class, whether or not you can load anything up to the website, that's what we're doing there. All right. Also, the website, our course website is right here as well, listed right here, right on the syllabus. So if you have questions, the two biggest spots are going to be syllabus and assignments. Yes? Assignments and syllabus. This will likely answer all of your questions. All right? If you still have a hard time at the end of everything else, maybe understanding the assignment as it's written on the thing, you got to send me an email about it. Don't show up at next week's class and be like, oh yeah, I didn't understand. I didn't really get what you were saying. Email me when you don't understand, not 5 minutes into class, right? You got a question?
Yeah, if we're going to be emailing pictures of first class, oh wait, no, we don't have to use first class. Never mind.
Yeah, I actually prefer not to use the university's bulletin board. Inevitably, I've done this before. The very first time that I taught on the college level, the schools, the university Blackboard system, I think we even use a Blackboard system here, it just died every 3 weeks. So I was like, you know what, we're just doing, I've never seen WordPress die. I've never seen Gmail fail, right? That's where we're going to go, all right? Don't worry about the university's system. All right, and so I have a picture from Trevor, and I'm going to use that to create our first assignment. If you guys are just arriving and you have laptops, break them out and open up the website that we're on right now. I've got a cute little picture of a little, what is it, a tabby cat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking up, looking all furry and fuzzy and cuddly. Let's get this up here. There we go. All right. When you get your invite onto our website, what you're going to do is go to uploading posts. All right, there's a way to upload a post, and what you're going to do is up here on the top left, you'll see our page. It says NMD341 Photo Reporting and Editing. You can go to Dashboard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't worry about any of these other things. Just go to Dashboard. And when your much faster internet at home opens up the page, it will give you all kinds of options down here. Your access will be a bit limited. As I give you the invite, you're going to have probably half the options that I have here on the left. I can manage 10 different blogs from this spot. I can look at everything that everybody has uploaded. I can look at when you uploaded it, even if, let's go to, what we're going to do to put your assignment in is to go to posts and then add new. That's the only one that you ever have to worry about, all right? Everybody got that? It's real easy. There's lots of buttons, lots of links, but there's two of them that you have to worry about. Dashboard and post new. That's it. Add a new post. You click there. There we go. So I'm going to say, Trevor, assignment 1. That is the title of assignment 1. All right. We have a couple of name conflicts, right? There's a Catherine and a Katie. Is that right? Maybe two Shannons. Are there two Shannons? Oh, well, there you go. So you prefer Katie, and then you prefer Catherine? Okay, so then there's no conflict. Does anybody else have a name conflict in here? All right. I don't think there is. If not, I mean, if there is, we'll find out eventually. Just put your first name and then the assignment. That's it. Nice and easy, okay? And to upload a picture, you're going to go to Add Media. And then it's going to give you an option to upload files. So you're just going to upload. Select the file you want from wherever it's going to be coming from. And I'm just going to go to Downloads. All right, when it's done uploading, all you have to do is insert it into Post. It's going to ask you all this other craziness. Don't worry about any of that. Just insert it. And above it or below it, my name is Trevo. All right. Okay. I am going to go into this categories section and create a new category for every person in here. And we'll talk about why I'm doing that later. And then you're going to go up here and just put publish. That is it. Nice and easy. Okay, you don't have to worry about changing any of this status, visibility, any of that stuff. You don't have to worry about doing formats, tags. All right? Nice and easy. And we're going to do that today. So everybody will have practice today. All right? If you're like, oh my God, that's too much, don't worry about it. I promise. We'll get everybody on the same page before we're done. All right. So this is what it's going to look like. As soon as you open up the page, it's going to have Trevor assignment 1. And then below Trevor's assignment, it'll say assignment 2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I have right here previous posts. And I put the glossary of terms for journalism and the glossary of terms for everything else in there. Now, as you'll see, up here on the left, now I have search by student. It's got Trevor's name up here. All right, so I can click Trevor at week 10 and pull up every single assignment that Trevor's done. All right, that's how we're going to start interacting with each other on here. All right, because on the left up here, part of your participation grade is going to be to help each other get better at photography. All right, I'm a good resource, but the people and the creativity in this class is so much better than one of me that everything I've ever done in my entire life will probably be minuscule compared to the input that you guys can give yourselves as peers, right? And that's going to be, that's the entire reason that we're going to do this. So when you upload your thing and you're done and you put your assignment up and you're writing, then you're going to go in here and you're going to click on Trevor's and then such and such and such, and you're going to give them feedback right on their post. Right down here, well, if it's scrolled up, you'll see leave a comment, right? All right, so it says leave a reply. And so I will say, Trevor, great shot. Great chateau. I did it again. Right off the top of my head, when I see that picture, I think, what is good about it? What is bad about it? Oh, great, of course, yeah.
You get off campus.
I just want to find one guy responsible for this and just kick him right in the head. What's going on? Do I have to do all that crap over again? Dude! You're kidding. Awesome. I'm stuck in some weird cyber loop where my class goes to die. That's what I'm doing.
Try going back. You might have saved your changes.
Did it? It did not. Lucky me. All right. Well, in any case, we'll just say that what I said stuck. And so let's look at this one very briefly. We're going to do everybody's, but let's just look at this one as a first glance. And the first thing we're going to do is ask Trevor, what were your goals for this shot?
Do you need lights?
Oh, yeah. Probably whichever one cancels the front here. Oh, yeah, that's good enough. Yeah. It's actually still pretty bright in here because of that. Yeah, so what were your goals for this picture?
Capture my cat in his natural form.
Yeah? He looks pretty natural. His motor was probably running.
Yeah.
Sound like a little wood chipper.
Yeah.
What else? What kind of emotion did you want to evoke from this picture?
Maybe a sense of awe.
A sense of awe?
Yeah.
As in, oh my God, or like, oh.
Yeah, it's second.
Oh, option B.
That.
All right.
He likes you.
Did he accomplish that? Did anybody first think, oh?
Yeah.
Couple of us? Well, then that portion of that assignment would have been successful, right? And one of the things that people need to immediately know about this class, some of you guys that, one of you or two of you weren't here last week. Everybody needs to know that there are no bad or good pictures. There's just successful and unsuccessful ones, based on the objectives that you make for yourself and your client makes for you before you take it, right? Not after you take it. I don't want you to take a picture and be like, that looks like my goal would have been to capture a glistening waterfall. No, I want you to make the goal of capturing a glistening waterfall and then go get it, right? Don't make the job suit the picture. The picture needs to suit the job. Does everybody understand why that's important? You're happy to go over it. It's pretty obvious. But if that was your objective, well done. Well played, sir. All right? One of the things that makes this picture a little bit more successful than just any old picture of a cat is if you divide this picture into a tic-tac-toe and have 4 imaginary lines on it, 2 vertical and 2 horizontal, the eye more or less falls on the confluence of these 2 would-be intersecting lines, right? As far as taking pictures of animals go, the first thing that people, human beings, look for in any picture is the resemblance of a human face. The eyes will always go to eyes, or a face, or a smiling little baby. You could have the picture of a man surrounded by, like impaled by a spear made of nitrogen frozen cow dung, and people's eyes will always go to his face first, right? They will eventually make it down to this very strange artifact probing that individual. However, the face is where the eyes land first, right? So that actually is pretty successful. Your eye is going to start here. They're going to go up. And first thing is like, oh, I realize it's a cat. And then you're going to be like, oh, well, then your eyes kind of traipse around this area here. Oh, he's laying down. And then eventually, maybe your eyes find out that there's a hand here. And then you realize, oh, it's in his lap. Is that about the steps that your brain has gone through when you look at this picture? Everybody? Mm-hmm. All right. And there's a reason for that. And your eyes, eventually, they tell this story, and then they end up back here on the face, all right? And there's a couple of reasons that it does that. So, and that's just a quick summation of the shot that we see here. There's nothing unrelatable about this picture, right? Everybody knows what it feels like to have a squishy little animal on their lap and they're petting it, right? All right. So, now that I have given you guys a visual representation of what to do, now I want to show you. So, go away. All right. All right. One by one, I would like you guys to come up and put your email address right in here. The one you emailed me from or the one you were supposed to email me from. All right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed, and we'll get better at this as time goes on, is that I know everybody's busy, and I don't want to sound like I'm harping on anything negative, but I don't want you guys to wait till Sunday at midnight. That is the deadline, not the required time, right? Not the, I want to be up, me, Kyle, I don't want to be up at 1 o'clock Monday morning editing or looking at your stuff for a class later that day, right? That's just the deadline, as in all hell breaks loose and your house burns down. This is the date. This is the day and time to have your stuff in. You weren't here last time, right?
No.
What's your name?
That's Connor.
Connor? Oh my God. We got 2 Connors.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one conflict we have then.
I'll just go by my last name. It's fine.
Okay. Well, what's your the last name start with?
M.
All right. And yours?
S.
Okay. Well, so just Connor S and Connor M. That's
All right.
fine for the assignments. All right. And the other, Catherine Bartos, I believe I sent yours out.
I think
It's against.
I was already logged in my WordPress, and before you said to log out of it, I had hit accept. So and I'm trying to log out, but now I don't know.
It's against rules.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something you do.
Character states that don't allow MCA to do things in sports.
So there's supposed to be like a password to get in there.
This is where you go. Did you guys get yours in?
Dude, there could be
Yeah.
$10 in debt.
Yeah, just on the
I've already seen this. Much less than that. Yeah, I think that's. Oh. This is all from the invite, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the second.
Yeah, it's usually pretty straightforward. It goes from step 1 to 2 to 3. And if that's one of your steps, then that's fine.
And then the one.
But you, yeah, I think that might have gotten to the part where we're finding one of the problems.
Big section.
All right. And let's see. Mel,
Yeah.
I'm going to put yours in right now, so you should have your invite in a second. It's a good picture too, by the way. I like that one of flowers, Catherine.
Yeah.
I'll show you a little trick to shoot flowers too. You were shooting kind of into the light on that one, but there's a way to do that and make it look really epic. So.
This is James Harden. Red and white. Red is the white.
All right, Riley, here's the sense.
Did you just transfer your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know this figuring it out.
Wang, sent yours out, and I read your responses. Good responses.
You got my email, right?
Yep. Well, you sent me a couple of them, right?
Just 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You had a good understanding of that. I haven't really looked at your image though. We'll do that in a second.
I sent you a bunch of them because I thought you asked me to take a bunch of them.
Yeah. No, we'll take it. Yeah. You sent me the invite to view stuff on the drive, right? Yeah. You got some good ones in there. You've got some interesting symmetry. And we'll look through those today. The people that did email me and did have everything all set up, find that email, and all you have to do is copy and paste that email into your first post. All right? And Trevor, why don't you go ahead and just do on all new post anyway
Okay.
with your picture, just so that you've gone through the process of doing it instead of using my upload there.
So you just want me to do that all over again too?
Because I didn't actually copy and paste the text from your email, so I'd do that as well.
Okay.
And I think that's everybody that I've got. Right, yeah, I want to walk through that with everybody. So those of you who, if you're all set, everybody that is all set, just like hang until everybody's ready, okay? Let's see. If you wouldn't mind plugging your email address in there. So this whole table's done now, right? Well, we'll do it in yeah, we'll do that.
Just find those, that's it?
Yep. Yeah, as long as that's correct.
Yep. Yeah, wait a minute.
You're next. Tristan?
So what did you want us to paste into the format? The acceptance email?
If you wrote me some stuff.
Yeah.
Email.
What we put in the email.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Text.
Okay.
But it might have just been like, here's my assignment or something like that.
Yeah.
But if that's what it was, just say, answer the questions on this.
All right.
This don't worry about. If you put full size, then it'll be I think the widest it gets is something like 1,000 pixels per 800 horizontal. All right. Question? It looks like you've already got a WordPress blog attached to that email. Is that correct? Right. You don't have another different WordPress blog at all? Do you well,
Were you in the media section?
your computer itself has a signature on it that logs into WordPress. WordPress keeps your cookies and logs you in and out. So is there another one that you log into with this computer?
Yes, I think,
You log out and then accept it?
yeah.
Invitation? All right. It shouldn't have a problem, but clearly it's having one for some reason. So,
I'm so yes, tomorrow's her birthday. We're all going out.
maybe.
She's also
Hang on a second. Thomas, are you in here yet?
Yeah, I think I had pictures, but I think response saying,
You haven't gotten your invite yet? Okay. Come up and put your email address in here for me, the one you want to use. And then hit send it.
No.
All right. Okay. And the invite, is it linked itself automatically?
Yeah, like, because I hit it, because it was all locked, so it had added it.
Okay. Wang, just log into your normal one and follow her directions. She seems to have gotten through it easy. Yep.
Cascade.
Okay, so you don't want me to use the email my
Is that
I don't know which one you want. Whatever one you want to use, it's not connected to another WordPress.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, the union system is kind of messed up. Hopefully this works.
Who supplied it as a kid?
And I haven't sent one to Connor, right?
Nope.
Okay, you're next then.
Right to send invite?
Yes. Right. How many people in here have worked with WordPress before, like a blog or something basic? They're pretty popular. Everybody else, I mean, everybody kind of knows what blogging is, right? Some people have like, what's the other big one? Blogspot, and then
So just like Blogger.
yeah, Blogger. What's your name? Evan. Are you new?
Yes.
Just transferred in?
Yeah, kind of. I was all over the place, my schedule.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Just email?
Yep, just the email you want to use.
Cool.
Make sure you're logged out of any WordPress stuff on your laptop before you accept the invite.
I had the tag usually name, right?
I think categories is actually what I want.
Add one.
Yeah, I've made it.
Category is pizza.
Category.
Oh, okay. I'll add it. I'll add it. It's probably just something else.
Then just leave it.
Yeah, just
Start the
I'll do it.
Yo, when he sends us the invitation, what's the
Hey Jane, is it document dot me?
What am I saying? What is the password?
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and log into your current one? Because you have a blog, right?
I do.
It thinks that it's trying to log in.
The old one? Okay, cool.
And it apparently works for them. Just log in.
Figure this out.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, so like, because like when I'm trying to log in,
Like, I didn't do it right, so I think
I need
she
like
said
maybe
she
like
did it.
she made up.
Mine,
If
she
you,
did, I don't see. Mine linked to my other WordPress account.
yeah, that's
What, like the ones with a little bit
Like,
difficult to
all
actually
my,
So,
do
like,
from
like,
there.
so it's just there, so I log in with my normal like, email.
Me too.
Trevor, do you have the password for this one?
Is anybody else's mouse like jumped somewhere else on the screen?
No,
when they
I
type
just
it?
logged into my WordPress and
I'm just the
then
only
my
one
email.
in here? Okay.
That's all I did.
Too aggressive, man. So strong.
That must be it. The power of my little finger. Yeah?
Okay, so I
Not sync this class.
So you also have a WordPress?
Because you can't even.
No?
Yeah, there's also combinations.
I can't remember what I did last time. Are you guys figuring that out over there, Wayne? No?
Should I give you a new email since I already have the email I gave you attached to an old WordPress?
That would be the easiest way to fix it.
What's your first pass? Was that?
It's yeah, it's at main.
Our name dot.
Main dot, yeah. It's not letting me log in.
Should it go through a process of emailing it or resetting it?
Yeah,
So should it be taking
I
how
probably
long?
use a draft and then reload the page.
You're only going to be able to see an author, and then you'll be able to write stuff.
Good call.
What was the question, Connor?
So it takes me to right here.
Yeah, so if you, guys listen up, if you're coming to a page where it's asking you to log in, it's assuming you've already got a password, go ahead and log in what you would normally log in with, whatever it is that you have for your WordPress, and just the username, and click forgot password, all right, and see if it just pulls up your email address or something. If you're able to put in your email address and have it send your lost password or like a link to reset it or something like that, go ahead and do that. You're started, all right? I think that's everybody.
But it's
At the absolute worst case scenario, everybody listen up. Let me get everybody's ears and eyeballs, please. At the absolute worst case scenario, I don't want anybody to get frustrated over the technology. If we just can't get you working and the computers hate you, which is more likely that they hate me, they're taking it out on you, just email it to me. All right? I'll go through the process of putting it in there. But the people that have the most problem and that we just never successfully get to log into this, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot make me do that on a Monday before class, okay? It will be up to you. The onus will be on the people that have the most problem in here to get me your assignments before Sunday so that I can put you in the blog on Sunday so that other people can go and do their job of helping you out throughout the semester. Has everybody got that? Any questions on that? Question?
Okay, so I put in the email address that I put in it.
Yeah.
And it's saying that they don't have a user without login.
Okay.
So I think that
Should we
means that,
register?
I think that means you have to register WordPress under that
Yeah.
in order
Then,
to.
yeah.
Do
Is
you
there a
understand?
register?
Yeah.
Register by here? Okay.
Yeah.
Register with that new email and then get the invitation?
That is what I'm saying. Yep, yep.
Still having problems? Put your hands up. Okay.
Hey, I just logged into WordPress.
Can I put your email address? Your actual
Cool.
I'm exhausted. It's available I think it's November 9th it comes out. I'm really excited for this. Have you watched any of this
Yeah,
stuff?
and.
Sort of.
The invite?
No, it's really good.
Just put your email address.
It's
Oh, the easiest way to do it.
Yo, we need to throw all this paper.
And then create a password.
Yeah, like,
And you're the only one doing
We're gonna have the elbow.
it. Dude, come sit here.
Can't do that.
Personal space.
Seriously?
Then I'm gonna pull on that.
No, you're not. That's really
but
bad.
it's making, wait, should you put in a blog address too? Is that what you just
It's
said?
like a freaking
Wait.
pension.
Wait.
You know, yeah, that's what this is where.
So make,
Okay, so
make
I'm
whatever
just-
password you want.
Yeah.
Okay. and I'm just gonna-
Can I use a completely different email?
That's going to be the easier way to do it, yeah.
Can I get another one of those to a different email?
Yeah. Make sure you log out though.
Yeah, I'm logged out of every email.
Whoa.
Log into anything.
Good.
You ready to go?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was talking to
Alright. Let's see.
So you're not going to be able to check until later, right?
I'm already on.
Oh, are you? Okay. And you're not going to be able to check later. All right. I wish I could just get somebody else to laptop. You know what I mean? But that's still going to come up with Okay.
Yeah, no, I was gonna have to get sorted. What time's the show?
All right. You took it. I think you took it down too far. You actually created a blog. So let's now you're logged in.
Oh,
You
okay.
have your blog.
Is that this for
All right. So you're ready.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
Right. Got your dashboard here.
Huh? This Friday? Who is it?
You got-
No.
All right.
Okay.
Tristan, we got Tristan working. Who else did we get working?
I got the new blog, but now I just need another
Yeah,
invitation.
so no, you can actually just click the same invitation.
Oh, sorry. Oh, can
Yep, click that invitation again,
I?
and then it should just go boom, like, just load it up with your other one.
Sweet.
There you go. Okay, and this is the important part.
Okay.
When it says over here, this is whatever your normal blog is.
Yep.
This one is the important one to look
I
at.
magically log in on an old account. How do I get the invitation to work? I should have my email.
Click your email again, click accept. Hopefully it'll just, of course it does.
No, of course not. And I don't, this is a saved password too, so I don't know anything about this.
Yeah. It was out of the emails. I
Someday, I can pass this in today, right? Is that cool? I can get it really soon.
Yeah, we're just gonna work technical stuff there. Don't worry about it. Like, well, once we get it rolling, then I can screen out your again, like, and a couple of you like toes. Everybody here is online and working, right?
Yep.
One table is actually 100% working.
I got in.
Pretty sure that one's all set.
We're not getting email back.
Yeah, I'm on this right now, and I accepted the invitation, and I'm gonna draw out my file, and I'm good to go.
You're still in? So go ahead and go back to your email and accept the invitation.
How many of these requirements for like better stronger passwords? Like,
I'm usually pretty good.
any sensitive information.
See that right there? Yeah, that's the one you're gonna go to next year. You're in? Yep, good to go. It's the same as the other one, apparently. Whatever your original blog was, this is the name of your blog there. In fact, bring your mouse over there and hover it, and everything will drop down. See that? Now you got two blogs. You got mine and yours. All right. So, still having problems? Oh no, we got you set up, right? All right. When you get your whatever, if you're having problems logging in and it's because of something else, accept the invitation again from your email once you're logged in, and this is what you want to see. This is what proves that they're linked now. Well, this is what proves that you're logged in because you can see your dashboard, and this is what proves they're linked. All of these guys right here. Then your original blog is going to be at the top, and then all of your other nonsense is going to be there, and then this guy right here. And you can actually access the dashboard. You can even go to a new post right from there. All right? All right. A couple of things about the posts. I will know as the administrator of the blogs when you post stuff. So what I would rather you not do, if you're running late, oh Jesus, if you're running late or something, what I don't want you to do is get, yes, it's a deadline, yes, it's important that you get it in on time, but what I don't want you to do, please, 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 don't try and finagle the time in which you are logging in or anything like that. Of course, it's going to give me some strange crap now.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Some people can. The administrator,
Sweet, I'm gonna figure it out.
AKA like the nebulous WordPress god, knows all. It's like Santa Claus. Let's go here. No, let's go.
Cool.
All right. So that's not gonna. Anybody have any questions right now before I start talking about the posts? Everybody, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? I want to get everybody on the same page before we move forward. So, dashboard, posts, add new, and this is what you look at. If you want to add something to your previous post, very easy. Then instead of going to add new, you just go to posts. In fact, you can just click on this link right here, and you will, I believe, have access to at least the ones that you put in, probably even stuff that everybody else put in. I can already see that everybody here has put stuff in. This is what I look at when I walk in. And this date right here, it's the true date. I hit this drop-down button, and it'll tell me if you changed it and all that other stuff. But basically, this gives me the live stuff. That's why it's not advisable to try and change the input stuff. So in any case, those are our posts. We're going to actually get into talking about the glossary of terms today, as well as the glossary of photography, and the journalism and the photography terms. That's what we're going to be doing. All right. So what are you going to do? I'll give you an assignment today, tonight. How do you put it in? Step one, what?
Go to the website.
Go Go to NMD341WordPress.com, log in. Step 2, what is it?
Dashboard.
Go to your dashboard. Step 3,
Posts.
add post, add new, go to post, add new, right? And then what do we put as the title?
First name, assignment 2.
Yeah, first name, assignment, and then 2. And that's it's nice and easy. It'll progress all the way through. I think we have a total of, well, there's 2 each week, right? And we're going to be on an odd number up until October, in which we're going to miss another day, and we'll be back on even numbers again, right? All right, so that's all sorted. Happy, joy.
Assignment 1 right now.
Yeah, go ahead, and what I want you to do is just have it one successful post. I don't even care what it is. I want your photo up there if you've got it, but if you just don't have access to it, we gotta move on. All right. All right. Now that we're back, oh, look at that. Whose is this? Yours? Where's it from?
It's from a lake. I don't know. My friends rented a lake house last weekend, and I forget what lake it is.
Is that a skidoo or a boat?
I think it's a boat.
Yeah. You guys go fishing or swimming or?
Those are my 2 friends, and they're fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went swimming.
There's one interesting thing about this photo that stands out, that gives it a little more presence. Does anybody know what that might be? Everybody knows what a lake and a boat and a mountain look like, right?
The size of the people, maybe?
Size of the people, yeah. The human element, you always, okay, it's a good thing in journalism, especially nonfiction photography, to get a human in there. Humans, even if you're standing on, if you're shooting on something that's 100 yards away, if there's a person in there, everybody knows how big people are. So it gives the other thing that they're standing next to a reference for size, a reference for shape, a reference for color, right? Put a person in your shots, if at all possible, right? The thing that I was going to say, though, is anybody else have another shot at it?
I could put an email.
You could probably what?
The tree.
The tree, yeah. The tree does something interesting to this shot. It divides it between 1/3 right here and 2/3 over here. There's another thing that almost divides it the same way. Does anybody else know what that is? This line right here, this horizon, it almost cuts it in half. It's a little bit north of the half line, right? That's what you want. You want it to be about here. Kind of like where the top of the ridge of the mountains are. If she could start that water line right there, and have a nice, solid, flat lake, you'd have 2/3 of the lake this way and 2/3 of the lake this way. It'd be a nice composed shot, right? Nicely composed shot. So we're not gonna break it down too much further than that, but that's a good one. This is Wang's, yeah? This is the one you finally chose?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
All right, anybody have any immediate impressions for what this shot is? First of all, where do we think it's at?
That's really
Is it on campus?
Yeah.
It is.
Is it done?
Is it on the
No, it's old.
is it on the quads?
I think it's Estabrook.
Esterbrook Hall?
It is Estabrook, because that's the, it's right by York, and that's the thing coming out, like the balcony almost.
What did this shot mean for you?
It should go out on.
I really like things with grid and,
With like a grid?
yeah,
Yep, okay.
and the windows, I think is really nice.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a grid within a grid, isn't it? The windows themselves are a grid for the whole picture, and then the grids within the windows are basically an additional system of grids, right? So what she's done with this shot is she's framed, kind of framed within a frame, right? She's got the actual image, which is right here, and then she's got a secondary image, which is kind of like right here, separated by the natural flow of the items giving that photo symmetry, that frame within the frame. There's a lot that you can say about this. There's actually probably a lot that you can tell about Wang from this shot, right? I mean, it's very, very symmetrical, right? She probably even made sure it was nice and level before she took it, right? Because you can look at one of these lines of bricks, and they're exactly the same all the way across. It's like one line of bricks. From a pretty far away shot, right? I mean, did you use a leveler?
No.
No? Did you crop it afterward?
No.
Yeah, it's extremely lucky that you got that straight on like that. But that says a lot, right? I mean, she is going to be taking care, I can tell that she, over the course of the semester, is going to be taking care to put a lot of symmetry in her shots, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's look at another one. All right, this is yours, right? Shooting into the light is pretty difficult. We're going to talk about that in our aesthetic week. We're going to do a couple of workshops on that. There's a way to shoot into the light to make it look pretty good and pretty dramatic, but all right, what were your inspirations for this before I start off?
I think the flower is like a good representation of life, and just like as I look right there, like there's a song about the big fading here today, gone tomorrow, and I liked that this flower was kind of like broken on the ends, and so I took advantage of that.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So it was the content, right? Anybody have any responses? What does it make you feel?
Want to be outside.
Right. It is a bit, there's nothing in that shot that resembles anything human-made, right? It's very, very non-human, very wild. What else? Anybody? One thing I could say that I noticed.
The focus of the shot is thriving. There's multiple versions of it.
Oh, okay. Yep, so it's kind of cloning itself. One thing I noticed about this one flower is that it's the only one in the shot that's dead or dying. Kind of stands out, right? And we'll, the accent on that flower, if that's what your intention was, I can give you a couple of techniques to not only make this have a relationship with the other subjects in the shot, and it's all about framing, it's all about like composing the shot to aesthetically make it appeal. You can do a depth of focus, like a depth of field, where it's a few of the spines, like you can go so tight, such a shallow depth of field that you can just see a few of those spines that are in focus and make like kind of a macro-esque shot. Or you can place it in a spot dissimilar to where it's at now. Don't do anything. Of course you're going to do that. Yeah. So anyway, we'll cover some of that as well. This is pretty cool. Whose is this? I didn't see this one.
This is mine.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Well, I really like how it has really intense darkness, like almost to the point where you can't tell where the object on the table separates from the table itself, and it also has some fairly bright light. So the contrast I felt was really interesting.
Sure, yeah. There's a lot of dark space and a lot of light space, and those things are the 2 points that you're talking about that are contrasting, right?
Yeah.
It's obvious that it's night. What is this item here?
It's a headphone cord.
Yeah. And I guess it wraps down around the table over here? Okay, that makes sense. And for a second there, I thought this was maybe an electric cable. This was the side of a building and you were looking down from a window or something.
It's from the inside of the building.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see now that this right here is probably part of the window.
I wish it was a cable, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can just see you dangling off the side of a... get that shot! Yeah. Yeah, that's very decent distribution of focus there. Now in a shot like this, where the van is so out of focus, if that were the same shot in the day, you wouldn't even be able to tell that's a van. It'd just be a white blurb, right? But because it's night and because there's so much other dark stuff around it, it's a very good time to selectively focus on the table. And this little piece of light, this little blade of light that's slicing the table up in half, basically, is your mirror light. Your eyes are going to be drawn to this one because the light is what tells you that it's actually in focus. and the light here, which tells you it's out of focus, so those two contrasting things. What is this?
That's mine.
Yeah? And
Yeah, it was just some mushrooms that were next to actually a tree stump, but I cut it out so that it just looks like there's a tree in the corner. And then there was just like some light coming down through the leaves, and I was like, wow, it looks like a spotlight.
yeah, so you cropped the left portion?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like again, there's like a ray of light right in the center, right? Kind of like leaning a little bit to the left. Nice. And how that's what, maybe a couple inches tall, that grass?
Yeah.
Probably not very big mushrooms?
No,
Okay.
they're really small.
Yeah. So, let's see. If someone had to do this shot themselves, somebody place yourself, knowing what we know about this photograph, right in where he's at. Okay, if that's all we can see, how else would someone else shoot this picture? Anybody just chime in.
I would have given it a little bit more depth.
So you would have, what, shot closer to the plane?
Yeah, and I would have gone a little bit more like
Okay.
at this kind of an angle. Instead of like this, like I would have gone like at a less steep angle.
Yeah, what that's going to do, does anybody know what that would do to the area of focus? I'm trying not to get too technical, because today we are actually going to be talking about the terms. But I'm trying to create something that we can lead into the terms with. This is, if we were to drop the camera to the deck, basically, and look right down that plane of grass where just the blades were exposed, just above the little flat kind of lily, it would make it look like a lily pond with a couple of grass blades coming out if you were right at the deck with along the line of those mushrooms there. What that would do is it would make, depending on where your focus is at and how far your camera lens is away, select just maybe one mushroom top and a few blades of grass out of the hundreds or so down the line, right? And that would give you the perspective, kind of like the worm's eye view, right? And that would be a different way to do it. Who else? Who else would shoot? Now he's not shooting directly above, right? I mean, that's a little bit kind of standing this way and shooting here. Who would shoot directly above? I probably would. That would be my first shot anyway. Who would put their camera underneath one of the mushrooms and shoot up where you can see the light coming through the mushroom? Does anybody think they might be interested in that shot? That'd be a cool one, right? The outside of the mushroom itself getting thinner, gathering more light, right? Maybe even pull the thing out of the ground and shoot it like this or something. Just get super close. All kinds of different ways, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with the angle that he shot here. It's just one perspective out of many, right? All right, this is mouse. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. There's a lot going on in there, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I always sketch, and I just wanted to compose it in a way that you could probably see, like what I'm working on.
Yep.
So I didn't want it to be totally on focus, everything.
Right.
So I focuses more on the lower part of the picture.
Yep. Yep. So you are into painting and sketching and obviously writing.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got maybe even is that a woodworking piece there as well? That red-handled item?
Yeah, that's just carving material for printmaking.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So the person that took this picture, no matter if we just heard her say it or not, is obviously of the mindset that they prefer to work with their hands, right? I mean, obviously, they've got nothing but hand tools there in the mason jar, right? It's pretty well laid out too. There's plenty of stuff going on, but does anybody think that's overpowering? Like it's too much stuff? That's probably the right amount of stuff, right, to put in a picture. One of the things that, as we move through the semester, we'll want to not do is inundate our viewers visually. Anybody ever go to a website where there's like a million shiny GIFs like bouncing around, and you're just like, God, just give me the link without having to look see it, right? Because there's just so much. Like, your eyes just aren't prepped for that. Your brain is going to take in whatever is shown, right? So the more you give the eyes, the more work you're giving the brain, right? So, but there doesn't seem to be too much of that here. What is this item?
It's my mat. It's like on my coffee table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Thought maybe it was a piece of wood that you were carving as well. So yeah, obviously there's some artistic writing here, some artistic drawing here at least, something representing painting, sculpture, etc. And then of course literature, right? Maybe even some coloring. Yeah, hit that one. Did you put yours in full size, or is this yours up here? This is yours right here, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so the rest of you who are probably just now finishing up loading your stuff, we'll spare you the presence in front of the whole room. But suffice it to say that what we just did was a little bit of what we're going to be doing pretty much the entire semester. We're going to look at our work from the previous week. We're going to dissect it. What does it mean? Why does it look the way it looks? How can you shoot that differently? What are some techniques that you want to implement with your work to make it better, right? That's what we're going to be doing, and that's how we do it. Simply put, did you achieve your goal? That's the only question in this class that you ever need to ask yourself. I don't want everybody getting into this habit where like, oh, it's not a good picture. That's such crap. People go to an art gallery to be moved within themselves, okay? They don't go to an art gallery to say this is good and that's bad, right? Your motivation is the only one that counts. And there's really, I mean, unless you take a picture of the word bad, there is no bad picture, right? Unless you title it that way, you like set out, even if you set out to take a bad picture, if you succeed in that, that's a successful image, right? I mean, as juxtaposed as that sounds, that's a successful image. So, what I want everybody to do is look at these terms of journalism, all right? There's a lot. I'm sorry that there's a lot, but there are quite a few of them. But I want you to do that on your own time. Right below that is what we're going to start talking about. So very briefly, there's things like assignment. What's an assignment? Instruction to a reporter to cover an event, right? I mean, some of them are just super obvious. What is a banner? A banner is a headline at or near the top of a newspaper page, right? I mean, some of that's, what's B copy? B copy is the bottom section of a story written by the head. There's some of them that are common that you guys hear all the time, like the op-ed. Like, what's an op-ed? Does anybody know what an op-ed is? But you've heard it before, right? Oh, I was reading this op-ed piece the other day, and it totally contrasted what Obama said in the news, right? Op-ed is something people use to sound educated about journalism, but they're 90% of the time wrong about what op-ed actually means. Op-ed means opposite the editor. It's an opinion piece written by, most commonly, the editor of the newspaper. And I'll get to that. Let's see if I can go down here. And this, where did it go? It's not in there. How about this? It's kind of a controversial thing. Denoting a page opposite the editorial. OP, they took OP out of here, and they took ED out of editorial, right? And just put them together. That's it. And some people try and like wax intellectual for journalism world and try and use like little key stuff. But anyway, there we go, op-ed. Abbreviation for opposite the editor. In any case, this is going to clarify some of those terms. Go ahead and scroll down beyond that. I know as soon as I start going fast, I'll like come to the end. There we go. All right, glossary of photography terms. This is what I want everybody to really get involved with over the course of the semester. We're going to be using these terms. All right. At the end of the semester, I want everybody in here to have not just talk about pictures, right? Talk about pictures is a very, anybody can do that. What I want us to do is to engage in an educated conversation about the photojournalism world. Okay, now those are two very different conversations, aren't they? Let's talk about pictures. Okay, look at this one. Me and my sister, we were doing this, right? And this image was taken with, I meant to focus on aberration, and I ended up having some chromatic aberration. However, chromatic aberration was pretty well, we got around that using an AF servo, anti-aliasing agents in post, and then we ended up recounting. We stepped up our aperture and stepped down our shutter speed. Right. That is an educated conversation about what people do with their pictures. Right. And I just used the first few that you can actually piece together in that conversation. All right, so that's what we're going to start doing. So I'll give you the important ones. Let's see, it's actually 20 after. Does anybody need a break right now? Does anybody need, bathroom? All right, we've been going for a little while. Let's get the blood flowing, shake it up a little bit. We'll come back and we'll talk about this. We'll go through the terms, and then we'll talk about the next assignment, and then that'll be it. Okay, so bring it back in 10 minutes. That's 5:30. All right.
No, I haven't. Oh, Prince Charming.
Did you get the shot? The gym?
Well, not just a few. I try to get a few people in positions, and I really don't want to have a basketball. Yeah, like someone's just throwing the ball. Yeah. It takes like a perfect moment to work.
Did you have to wait a long time?
I had to wait for like 2 minutes. Just, when someone's about to throw the ball, that's when you take pictures.
Is Kyle around?
He just left like a few minutes ago.
Is it like class over?
No, we're taking like a 5-minute break.
We're taking like a 5-minute.
I was just trying to make sure you knew that someone else got added to the box to SCCJ without knowing.
I think that he
What?
You guys are so stupid.
All right, I think this is everybody with a break. All right. Okay. If you are going to be on your laptop, you're going to need to be on the page. Page 2. This is actually, we can go to, if you guys want to find the post itself, how do we find that?
Resources.
The post, well, some information about the assignment will be in resources. How do we go to this post right here?
Terms of photography.
Yep. How do we find it? You can click on this right here all by itself, right? And it'll, if I control click or Apple click on a Mac, this will open up in a whole new window, and then boom, all you see is this one, right? Instead of all the other stuff. Or you can go to the dashboard and just click on what? Posts, right? And I'll be able to see all the posts. This one, I think they go in I've set it up to go in chronological, so everything that was set up here, boom, 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 right? So you can just find it right here. Does everybody understand that? Pretty self-explanatory. All right. So, aberration. Aberration is a distortion of an image, quality, or color. That's all you have to know. Don't worry about the big long definition. It's just distortion. It's another funky word for distortion. If I say you've got some chromatic aberration or some caloric aberration in your photo, that's what I'm talking about. And I'll say, is that intentional? Is that intentional aberration? And you'll say, oh, no, I definitely, that was a mistake. Or you can say, yeah, I did that to pronounce the main subject of the area, right? All right, don't worry about servo. Servo is just this thing that makes stuff stay focused all the time. Aperture. Aperture is important. Aperture is also called the f-stop. All right, the f-stop is when you are, let me grab my marker here. I can write over here, right, on this section. Aperture is, but this is the outside of the lens, all right? Aperture is how open the actual lens elements are. When you turn a camera on and you say set it to an f5.6 or something, an f5.8, it's going to measure not the opening itself inside here. It's going to measure this, the distance between the outside of the lens and the inside of the opening. That's why if I have an f2, the aperture is wide open. Or if I have an f22, it's almost a pinhole, right? Because if it's 22 millimeters, that means that it's increased from here to here and sent the lens elements in, right? Closing it down on a pinhole. If it's an f2, it's going to have brought it back that way. Does everybody get that? It's a little bit difficult to understand, but that's basically what it is. And I'm sure I can find something pretty quick on Google to give you a visual representation of that. So, all right, let's look at this one right here. All right, you see all these little blades right here? These are just the lens elements, right? All right, that when a camera's servo is turning, it's making those blades come in or go out. That's all it's doing. All right. Somebody might ask, why would I need less light? Why would I bring less light into my lens, right? I mean, obviously you're going to need light to take a picture. Well, an interesting thing happens. It's a natural phenomenon. The smaller this opening is, or the iris is what it's called, the less you are required to focus. The wider the depth of field. All right. Has anybody ever, in like 3rd grade or something, seen the eclipse of the sun? They take a pin and they poke a hole in a piece of paper, and you can actually look at the eclipse of the sun. Anybody ever done that? A few of us have. The reason that you can see all of it in focus, you can basically, if that's the sun up there, and I take a pin and I poke a hole in it, I can hold the piece of paper up right here, and the light coming through will hit any surface and almost always be in focus because there's very little light to come through that hole. On the other hand, over here at the 2.8 scale, if an f2.8, if your camera is set to an f2.8, your lens elements are wide open, your iris is huge, and so what you have is a very shallow depth of field. And Catherine's flower would have benefited from shooting it at f2.8, getting up really close to the flower. If the flower is here and you take a picture right about here and focus right on that flower, everything else behind it and everything else in front of it would be out of focus. Forcing the eyes into one spot, right? And when someone looks at a picture and they don't know why this picture tells this amazing story, most of the time it's because the artist behind the lens has forced that person to look at one place. It's very uncomfortable to look at an image beyond the depth of field. Here we go. See this gnome right here, and that gnome are all in focus, right? What aperture do you think that camera was opened up to shoot that with everything in focus?
22.
Probably a 22, maybe even a 32, which is about twice, half, I'd say, the opening of that. All right, what about this one here? The one right next to it, where this gnome in the foreground and this one in the background are out of focus, but this one in the middle is in focus. Could be a 5. It could even be lower than that, a 4, maybe a 3.5, right? This aperture is wide open. This aperture is very, very short, very closed. All right? Why is that important to know? Anybody?
Because it's common to just kind of mistake that f22 will give you the largest, because it's the largest amount of light in your picture because it's the largest number.
Yeah, it's actually opposite what you would think. Yeah. You would think, oh, if it's f22, obviously it lets in, but it's not the case. It doesn't let in more light, right? It's the 2.8 that lets in more light. Unfortunately, it's also the 2.8 that has you focusing the least. But there's another reason. Anybody? Why is it important to know about depth of field?
Because depth of field is everything.
Kind of. It's definitely, it's a huge factor in, let's go here. Boom, this is perfect. Look at this. This is a perfect example of a great use of depth of field. What is in focus? The beer. That dude is very unimportant in that picture. The only thing that that guy represents in that picture is that it is indeed a wedding. It could be anybody. I could like put my brother in there. My brother's like, you put hair on my brother because my brother's bald, but that could be him, right? He is so out of focus, it's not even funny. Who do you think took that picture? Do you think it was like a wedding photographer, or do you think it was somebody who was paid by Michelob? Probably a commercial image for Michelob, right? I mean, everybody tends to think that drinking at a wedding is the way to go, but, you know, here's another one of selective focus. Who's the one that's more important in that picture?
The smoke.
Trick question. It's always the girl.
Well, for a wedding, right? Guys show up and they've done their job at a wedding.
Just show up hungover.
Showing up at all is a bonus if you want to see them. Now, I want everybody to try and look at this guy. Just for a couple seconds. It's like, you didn't even want to do it, right? The photographer in this shot is owning you people right now. The photographer that took this shot is telling you what to do, and you are obeying what they're doing, what they're telling you, right? So I don't want this man to be important. I want this girl to be important. And you start to look at the guy, and you're like, let's go back here. You start here, and then you look at, like, this is very blown out, this area right here on her very blown out lapel. Wedding photography is actually quite difficult because of all the white. And we'll talk about how to make that actually work, but her flowers are blown out. I have the feeling that this is actually a much better picture, but this is just like some JPEG rendition on somebody's website or something.
Or the projector.
Or the projector.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things that hang up. In any case, so now you understand why that's important to know about depth of field, right? Because like as a photographer, you are the one in control of telling your viewers what to see and how to see it. Every picture you take should tell some kind of a story. Your eyes should start somewhere, they should flow around the image, and they should return to that original spot. For the most successful pictures throughout history, that's essentially the game that's played. The photographer tells you where to look and what story to paint as your eyes move about the image as would brush strokes of a paintbrush, right? Here's one that's a little different. This is probably what? Who's this guy? It's not the bride, right? I mean, it's not the groom, right? Yeah, it's probably the dad, right? How did we come to that? We're not reading it anywhere. He's older. He is. Look at his eyes. That's not like, this is my honeymoon night. This is like, I'm very proud of this person, right? Where do your eyes go first as a viewer? Right here. Right to those eyes. And his eyes aren't wide open and like, ooh, look what I get to marry. He's like, this is it. I'm sending my daughter off, right? Very different shots. And this person right here, in rare form for wedding photography, is very unimportant. Very blown out, very out of focus. All right? I'll just go ahead and move forward. Aperture is very important, which is why I took that much time in talking about it. APS-C, has anybody ever heard of that? APS is the size, it's a kind of sensor in the camera. The C, there are several different kinds. There's several different kinds of cameras that do that. Just the important thing to know there is that cameras these days use sensors, not film. The sensor's sensitivity to light is called the ISO. And that's the second third of the three most important things in cameras, right? In setting our camera, the first thing we're going to need to know is the aperture. The second one is the ISO. ISO is essentially, it's also called film speed. and it is the shutter's sensitivity to light. You're going to tell the camera how much light to absorb. Does everybody understand that? And this is very dry, and I'm sorry that there's really no other way to explain it. But really you kind of have to learn the mechanics of it before we dive in. But in any case, so there's the ISO is how much sensitivity your camera is going to take in. So I'll show you something right now. In this room right now, it's pretty dark. If we were to step outside, even though it's like, 5:45, it's still going to be lighter than it is in this room. Now, my camera is going to be different than most of your cameras, and in that I have my ISO goes way down to a negative, probably what you call a low 10 or a low 1, low 0.7, and a low 0.3. And then the normal ones, the normal stages, which are actually listed up here, goes from 100 all the way up to about 6,400, 12,800. And if you'll notice, that number is 2 times that number, right? They double most of the time in steps. All right, so if I have a 100, the next up from 100, what do you think? 200. Next up from 200, 400. Next up from 400, 8, etc., etc. Okay, those are the main steps that you're going to go up in ISO. My camera does in between those, so it goes like 100, 200, 250. There might even be like a 320 in a second. 125, 160, 200, 250, 320, 400, 500, 640, and then it goes to 800, 1,000, 1,250, 16, 2,000, 2,500, 3,200, 4,000, 5,000, and 6,400. So mine hits the 6,400. My camera was released in 2010, I think, and they've increased it, I think, since then to probably something like, it might be up to somewhere around 32,000 by now. It's going to get more and more ridiculous. You can basically shoot in absolute no light, all right? So for shooting in this room, I'm going to go ahead and set my camera to an ISO 200, which is really, really, really low. Use that for extremely bright outdoor days. It doesn't even matter what I set the other ones on. I'm going to go ahead and bring my aperture down to a 2.8 and my shutter speed to a 200. And I barely, if you guys can see this, I barely even capture the projector. Right? But let's go to the other end of the spectrum, and I'll bring it all the way up to the maximum, which is 6,400. I'll do a wide angle shot for this one. And boom. It's actually brighter than what we can see in our just sitting here looking, right? So and I did nothing else to my camera other than to increase the ISO. All right, that's the second item on the list for how to adjust the camera. And we'll go ahead and jump to the third one. So ISO, aperture. Does anybody know what the third one is? Shutter speed. All right, let's go. Yes. All right, here we go. All right, so the length of time that the shutter is open. What is a shutter?
The amount of time that it allows the light in.
Yeah. Yeah, on a basic explanation level, that's precisely correct. It's the amount of time that the sensor is absorbing light, right? But what actually is a shutter? Anybody know?
Well, it's like a door kind of, where this mirror pops up and that's light in.
Yes. A shutter doesn't really have anything to do with the photography itself, other than it just basically gets out of the way. All right, everybody look quick. I don't want to leave my lens off my camera too long. because I'm currently getting dust in there right now, and that's not a good thing. I'll have to clean this out later. Everybody see the mirror? Everybody see it moving? That's the shutter, basically. And it's a very decent size shutter. And what I'll do now, I'll go down to bulb, and I'll hold it down, and you can actually see the sensor. See the sensor in there? It's a big one. This is a full frame camera, and what you guys are going to be using in here at the very least is a crop frame sensor, and I'll be checking 9 cameras out to you guys in here, or hopefully have them for you by next class time. But in any case, the shutter speed, if you guys saw me, if you saw the shutter, the mirror going up and down whenever I was clicking the shutter release button, or aka the trigger, that was shooting at 2/50th of a second. All right? And every shutter trip is measured in percentages of a second. It's just fractions of a second. How many people in here were already familiar with those settings before I talked about them? 1, 2, 3? A little bit? Yeah? You guys, you in here? All right. It's good to get an average of what the class knows, because I could talk about the mechanics of photography all day long and still barely cut the surface of how to actually use a camera. But I want to get us doing the fun stuff. So I'm going to do as topical as possible, just to get you guys used to it. Shooting in RAW, being able to look where you're at, give you some tools on how to set the light and then adjust it from there. And those are the 3 key elements. The shutter, actually it was right up here the whole time. It's a mechanism the camera uses to control the duration of the transmission of light. Right? Controls the duration of the transmission of light. That's all it is. And I think that's probably all I really wanted to cover today. There's a few that are important as well. RAW files, we're going to be using this term a lot. RAW files, as a semi-pro or a pro camera, offers this kind of file. And all that is an uncompressed image. Everybody say uncompressed.
Uncompressed.
It's important to say that. Compression is something that a computer uses or a processor uses to take the visual information, processes it in a certain way, and it actually stacks that information onto the memory card so that it can be read by the most kinds of stuff. So you take a picture, you can go right with your mobile phone and load it right up to Facebook without any issues. If it's a JPEG or a GIF, sometimes even a ping, right? If it's RAW, it's not going to be read by a lot of the different software that's out there. But RAW is a very, very important aspect of photography, and we will be shooting in RAW in this class. So I want you guys to know that as well. Resolution is pretty important. It's basically how sharp the image is. And you know, that actually extends to all forms of the stuff we use for visual media, like the monitor on your laptop, your TV at home if you're watching stuff on an LCD or a plasma screen at home, or even like the resolution technically refers to pixels, and the old styles of TVs, the old giant tube TVs that we have, and even this guy back here, this projector, it's all based on taking tiny little bits of light and translating that into the image itself, and those are pixels. Just determines the resolution. Lossy is a term I'll be using. Lossy means if you have saved a picture in JPEG and you edit it, and you save it in JPEG again, and then you do a couple other things, and you save it again and again and again, and it's eventually just going to keep compressing that image and stacking that information in a different way, and it looks much different than your original image, and it's never better than the original image, right? You always lose a little bit. You make a copy of a copy of a copy, theoretically, and on paper, it's supposed to be the exact same, right? But loss happens on that non-theoretical plane where the gray matter exists, right? Metering is how your camera focuses. We'll talk about that more later. Histogram. Histogram is very important. This is going to tell you how your camera saw the light. And if you plan on continuing in photography on any level, you need to know how to use your histogram. Okay. This is a very blown out image, as everybody can see. I held the bulb open for a little while, the shutter open for a little while. What I'm going to do is bring it to the histogram, and you see that square right there? You see how it's all of the information is heavily weighted over here to the left, right? See that? This is your histogram here, and it shows no dark at all, very little dark. It's all white. It's all, yeah, it's extremely what they call blown out, or blown out is another word for overexposed. This is what the histogram looks like, and this is what it looks to be blown out. All of the information that's available is way over here, right? That's what blown out is. Right? That's the histogram. That's the image. Right? Histogram. Most of the information is collected, as you'll see, way over here. Way over to the left. To the right, rather. Right is light, left is dark on a histogram, on a normal histogram. You can set it in a variety of ways. Now let's take now we have a little bit more information over there to the right. Right? As you can see, it's still unbalanced, right? There's a lot of, I think I might be able to plug this into the, oh, I need a mini HDMI, but in any case. I'll get a mini HDMI and we'll be able to see on the projector what my camera looks at. But basically, if we're looking at this one here, now we have more information over there to the left, right? And there's one little spike, if you guys can see. Now we have more information to the right. There's one little spike over here to the right, for those of you that got to see it. And that, where do you think that little spike of light is coming from? Where in that picture? The projector. It's the only light thing in there. So it is reading that information. It's just very little of that takes up whatever percentage of the shot. Okay? All right, so that, I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to understand. I show you two pictures, and you look at a histogram, you're like, well, whatever, right? But I wanted to, again, just topically cover that. That's going to be a very important part of looking at our images the way a computer sees them, right? The more flat the histogram is, the better. You don't want giant spikes to the left and to the right. That means you got a lot of dark and a lot of light. All right. What you want is a nice smooth that can go up a couple of times, come down a couple of times, but basically your average, it should be nice and even. And we'll talk about that. It's not an exact science. All right, I think we'll end our talk about that. But part of what I want you guys to do over this week is to go through the terms, okay? You don't have to memorize them. Just get familiar with them. Just read through it. There are a lot. Read through it 1 or 2 times, and you probably, once we start talking, throwing the verbiage out there as the semester goes on, you'll start applying that what you've read, okay?
Also, maybe searching them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Image search might.
Yeah, if a couple of them stick out and you're confused about them, email me or search them themselves, Google them. Those are keywords, by the way. You can just copy that and paste it right into Google. It's a good point, Tom.
So like the image search, like it'll become very apparent.
Yeah, you search that. In fact, you can search that, and then once you have your images, you click on a couple that you like and start seeking out some of your favored photographers. I want you guys to start getting familiar with the photographers that are in your area of interest as well. All right. So what we've done today so far is we have kind of reintroduced the class. Some of you guys weren't here. Some of you guys missed a bit of it. So I've gone over that. I kind of mentioned I didn't want to really talk a whole lot about the syllabus the first day. I need to get the nuts and bolts out. So what I am going to do, what we're going to do Wednesday is we're going to go over the goals and outcomes, that are listed right there on the syllabus. All right, I really want everybody to be familiar with that, because the goals that you have for me, the goals that I have for you, the goals that everybody has for the class as a whole, I want to keep those at the forefront. And as we go along through the assignments throughout the semester, as long as we're on track, I think everybody's going to see a very dramatic and very positive improvement in what we do as far as our photography. One thing I didn't mention last Wednesday was the one rule that I have for class. And I don't like harping rules. As soon as people come in, I don't like the atmosphere that says, you know, like we're in like 1952 grade school where everybody gets the mean, stern lecture from the, you know, the information needs to be relatable, and everybody needs to be able to digest it. So I have one rule, and that is respect. If somebody has their hand up and you guys want to know something, it's up to me to stop and to make sure everybody's on the page that everybody else is on, right? That's my expectation for myself as far as respect. So if someone else is, for instance, talking, what are we going to do? We're going to listen. That's it. It's a very respectful thing to do, right? If you're thinking about doing something and you're like second guessing yourself and you're like, oh, is that what I should be doing? Right? Then clearly it's probably not what you should be doing, right? I mean, that's a pretty self-explanatory thing, and it just has to come down to respect. You know, we're going to be doing a lot of leaning on each other in this class for our progress. So that's it. I don't need to say anything else. Everybody in here is pretty respectful. So let's see, 3 absences. Unfortunately, I have to hammer down on the 3 absences. You're going to drop 1 letter grade for those. Obviously, people are going to get sick. People are going to miss class. All right, I am completely aware of that. There hasn't been one semester that I've gone through and every single student was there every single time, on time, every time. I expect it. But I got to have you here. So that's pretty important. Again, I don't think anybody in here is in jeopardy of having a problem there. All right, so the discussions. This week we already dove into the terminology, and we covered the most important parts of the list there. We went over the first assignment as well. Again, I meant for that assignment to be weak, right? Not very focused, not very stern. I want to get your basic level of understanding of photography. That's why we talk about the basic terms and the basic functions of photography today. And I also wanted you guys to make the mistake of being late and turning it in wrong. Because as soon as I had people coming in here today, everybody was like, all apologetic. I didn't get the thing in on time. I don't know what to do, right? There was a little bit of method to my madness there. It's important that everybody knows what it's like to freak out a little bit. All right? You got out of it completely. Yeah. So, let's see. Yeah, and it gives us a sense of where you're at, right? I mean, everybody in here is going to shoot the exact same subject in very different ways. Every single one of us. All right, but it gives us a point to build from. That's the important part. That's all I wanted to do there. By Wednesday, everybody should have assignment 1 up on the blog. Are there any issues with the blog still? All right. If you do have issues tonight and tomorrow, after we've assigned the assignment or whatever, email me. Please email me your issues. I'm most responsive via email. Let's see. We'll cover this stuff Wednesday. Aesthetic value. We talked a little bit about what the picture represents. What was your motivation, stuff like that. We're going to start talking a little bit more about. We're going to add the mechanics into the art. Okay. It's a hard bridge. It's a hard gap to bridge, but we'll try and bridge that. Nobody in here, I think, does not have the capacity to understand what we're going to talk about. So I'm positive that the plans that I have for the early part of the semester are going to be just fine. I think everybody's going to do well on that. Let's see. I got everybody's emails and blogs set up. Check. And so discuss the second assignment. So where are we going to find our assignments?
Right there.
on the assignments hat. I put that in a foreign language to throw you off. Just kidding. It's in plain English so we can all find it. All right, assignment 2. What is your favorite magazine? It's all about, I hate to say it, but if you're in photography and you have very specific interests, even if your interests you can't even find online, somebody has done it before. There's nobody in this room, I hate to say it, and I'm sorry that this is the way it is, but it indeed is the way, it's the reality of photography. You're not going to create anything brand spanking new in here. What you are going to do is put your own brand of work on what's out there, right? There's any kind of, like, everything from fetishes to, like, taking pictures of spiders. Like, it's been done, right? But what we're going to do is capitalize on how you do it, right? Nobody's ever done it the way you do it. And that's what makes every person behind that camera very different with that very same tool. What's your favorite magazine? So I want you guys to start figuring out your niche, right? Figuring out your interests. If you're into weddings, if you're into fashion, if you're into Field and Stream, I used as an example. I want you to look through it and get some ideas from it. I want you to flip through quick the first time. Right? This is a very good technique. The things that stop you, don't think about it. The things that visually stimulate you right off the bat, that is when you stop and you digest it. Maybe clip it. Maybe cut it out and then bring it in, or maybe take a picture of it with your own camera, save it for yourself, and then start thinking about why is that important. All right, get a few of those, and I want you to try to recreate it. All right, if it's Field and Stream, my example up here is try to go out, get your brother or your dad or whoever likes to fish the most in your family, get a close up on their hands making a fly, right, or putting a worm on a hook, or like get a wide shot with the babbling brook and the little caster in the wind, you know, like just, I don't know, whatever you think of that particular scene. I want you to try and recreate it. All right. If you like fashion, go out into the street. Right? Maybe you sit with your sister or your little cousin or something and have her play dress up or whatever, and just make your own fashion show. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. I want you to try and find your favorite magazine and recreate an image from it. I want you to pay attention while you're doing that to the lighting, the camera angle. Did they shoot from below, from a hi-hat position? Did they shoot at an overhead position? Was it a wide angle or a close-up? Was it intimate? Was it all-encompassing? Was it emotional? Why were you drawn to that? Try to recreate it. All right? And for the writing portion of that assignment, I want you to write out your goals. I want you to write out your goals before you leave today. All right? And I would hope, hopefully, and I'm sorry that you guys put your laptops away before I say this, but I want you to write out your goals and post them, so that you're not in jeopardy of taking the picture and then writing your goals afterwards, right? All right? Everybody got that? I want your writing posted before the images come in. So it'll say your name, assignment 2, writing. And then when you get to the photography portion, your name, assignment 2, photo. Everybody got that?
You just want our goals?
Yeah. Your preliminary stuff. Everybody knows what magazine they're going to go buy or look at when they get home, right? Penthouse. You create an image like that, and you've got you already got your career lined out for you. Plenty of markets there. But what I want you to do right now is just to say, let's just use my example of Field and Stream. I had a picture published in Field and Stream in 2006. It was it was literally ducks in a row, right? Which is the ironic part of that. Was I just took this picture in a small town in Indiana, this lake, where these ducks just literally lined up for me. It was great, and I might even be able to find that actually. But in any case. What I would like is think of your magazine, think of the shots that might exist in that magazine, and right now I want you to just tell me what your goals are for that. If your goals are to recreate the exact angle of one of the pictures. If your goals are to recreate the lighting, maybe to make a shot that connects with the photographer, okay? Because in your magazines, it's going to tell you what photographer took what image. Go find their other work. His or her work probably appeals to you more than just what that image does, right? If that's their style. If you want to connect with the image itself, with the photographer. If you want to connect with the magazine itself as a whole. Any of those would be very, very good goals to have. And just as some idea poppers I put in there, do you want a close-up shot, giving an intimate feeling of your subject matter, or would your photo rather be better served surrounded by a larger background? Pay attention to the angle, the lighting, all that stuff. And that's all I have for you today. That goes up on our post by midnight tomorrow night, right? Any questions about the assignments? Any questions about anything today? Everybody's busy working. I like it. Let's see. Oh my God, it's so slow. I feel older already. Yeah, it's because everybody's online right now in this class. That's what it is.
She was supposed to teach us. Yeah, we're actually how you're starting to think. Having twins. Yeah.
Who?
Amy Pierce, she was in the teacher's class.
No, wait, what was that? What did you read that?
There we go. This is the one that was in Field and Stream 06. I think maybe it was 07. Any minute now would be.
See the ducks.
Yeah. See the sliver. Pretty cool shot, right? It's very metaphorical. I have my ducks in a row, right?
You staged that.
I did. I paid them, actually.
No, just throw them some bread.
No,
Go
Ray, you
go.
line up your breath on the screen.
Totally. You know, there's also something else about this image, right? There's a lead line right here that comes down this way, right? Everybody guys see the bills meeting up? And there's also...
The third one in, Bill's a little lower.
I totally failed, didn't I?
I don't
I
know.
wish it would just pause on this one.
Click on the stop. The
All right. And if you look, there's the invisible
and
lines, right?
two.
The main
One.
focus. Boom. The main focus, the eyes of the animal were in focus, right? The one that's important. Here's a very good one for selective focus.
Oh, there's the problem.
Right? Oh, yeah. This guy's having a bad day, right? So, this little kid here, it's funny, he was like handing out tickets on the back of an antique train. Tickets to the train. Neat little, I covered a lot of feature stories for the newspapers at that time. A lot of cutesy little small town stuff that clearly you'll never get to see because my internet is slow. Anyway, thank you again, and I will see you guys Wednesday.
Peace, love, and applesauce.